The movie begins with Levon Cade sleeping in a car getting ready for work. He left behind a decorated military career in the Black Ops to live a simple life working construction. His main goal is to provide stability for his young daughter and stay away from the kind of work that once defined him. Although he appears to be just another hardworking laborer, those closest to him know he possesses extraordinary skills and discipline. Joe starts talking about why his daughter needs so much money to celebrate one semester. Meanwhile, Levon spots a black truck outside with two thugs walking to the construction site, so he investigates and sees the thugs punking the workers. He tries to tell the thugs that the guy needs to get back to work, but they tell him to frick off, not knowing who they're talking to. More thugs appear and he has no choice to kick their butt and hold a shotgun to the boss head, telling them to keep it pushing. After, he goes to spend time with his beloved daughter and gives her a gift of a picture of her mom. She died by suicide while Levon was away on military deployment. Over what happened at the worksite, he gets allegations saying he has untreated PTSD and could bring trauma from his military service. It becomes nighttime and we focus on Joe's daughter and what she needed all the money for. But she don't know there is someone watching her every move. As she leaves the bathroom, the unknown man kidnaps and put her in a truck. Joe calls in Levon. Knowing his skills from the past, he tells him about what happened to his daughter, asking him for help.
We invited half our family.
Joe pays Levon to search for his daughter. The next day he goes to the same place Jenny, aka Joe's daughter, went to the night before to look for clues about her abduction. He puts a tracker on the guy working there and follows him home. He walks in on dude smoking some gas after his shift and aims a shotgun at him after he reached for his gun. He asks the guy where his friend took Jenny, but he says he don't know nothing, thinking Levon is dumb, so Levon drowns him in the tub and the guy starts talking, saying how dangerous the people are. The guy had company coming and screams for help. Levon used the guy as a shield for the dummies that shoot, not knowing who they just killed. Levon goes to the spot he got from that punk in the tub and sees two bums opening the door for their boss. The boss sees Levon asking what's he doing here to his bums, but he just walks inside. Levon starts his plan. He sees them leaving and follows them back to their boss mansion. Levon sets up in the woods spying and listening to the bums. The boss hits his girl and she leaves his bum ass. After, Levon goes in while he's distracted on the phone and throws hot coffee on him. He ties up the bum and eats his bagel he made in his house. He takes the tape off and tells him if he can't control his volume he's falling in the water. Levon slaps his bum ass for slapping that pretty girl. Then he asks and shows him a picture of Jenny. He says some BS. Then Levon tells him to keep his voice down and asks him again for the girl. He doesn't talk, so Levon lets him drown in the pool of water. He translates some other language the guy said and finds out some name Demi. Later, it looks like the bum of the bums, aka the bum's father, appears after hearing what happened. He ended up finding some footage of Levon drowning the guy in the pool and tell his bums to find Levon and bring him alive. We focus on Jenny again, showing she's still alive, and she tells them they have the wrong girl. But the girl puts a gun to Jenny's head and tells her to shut up. Levon calls some government worker asking to find the person named Demi, and he tells Levon he not the type of guy you want to mess with, and he sells men for the Russians but say he will look into it. Levon goes to a bar looking for more clues that can lead him to Jenny, but the girl who's watching the camera says he looks like a cop and has a gun in his pocket. So the guy goes to Levon and Levon drops a whole band on the table, so the guy tells Levon to follow him to the back to Boss Man, and they think he's a cop, so Levon feels disrespected and have no choice but to prove them he ain't no punk. Before Levon beat up the last guy, Demi says enough, he's not a cop, he's a working man, and he fight like a soldier and tells him to have a seat. They end up making a drug deal, but it's just all a part of the plan. He meets up with them and pays them, and they give him a burner phone, and he talks to Demi about the deal. In the middle of the movie, it shows Jenny were kidnapped by some rich guy because Jenny reminded him of some picture. Levon start putting clues together until Demi calls and tells him to get a suit for some serious plans to meet some people tomorrow. Next day he meets Demi. He checks his surrounding as he walks in. Demi gets straight to the point and asks where's the cash. Levon politely asks. Demi tells Levon to turn his phone off to be sure there's no evidence of this happening. After checking the cash, Demi wasn't the real Demi, it was this guy.
My name is Demi.
He asks for Levon's name, and Levon tells Demi his name is Bill. They ask for his driver's license and says they notice Levon is driving a rental. They checks plates. Levon say tax write-outs. Demi says the fake Demi is just his business partner, and that he's small potatoes, and he's big potatoes, and ask will Levon be a problem. Levon asks is he being threatened. One of Demi's guy whisper in his ear and gives Levon his driver's license back. They thinks Levon is clearly a serious person and says if he need resupply, use the burner phone and tells him to leave and don't look back. Levon dumps all the supply into the toilet and gets back to searching for Jenny. As he's searching, he notices a guy in multiple pictures taken where Jenny disappeared. He decides to go back later that night and tries to listen to conversations. The girl on camera duty spots him and tells someone he's here. With the IQ of Levon, he easily get away and the girl gets angry. They start chasing him into the woods shooting. Levon gets blocked off by another one of the enemies and Buster right. As he's riding, he gets hit by a cop car and they ask him to put his hands up. As the enemies arrives, the cop ends up being on the payroll too. They kidnap Levon and ask him how he knows Jenny, telling about the man he let drown in the pool tied up was his bum-ass uncle. With the dumb genetics in their blood, Levon kicks one of the bums and start beating them up with his hands still tied. The bum tries to get the gun on the floor, but Levon kicks him. He eventually gets one bum tied up. The driver crashes, but Levon's still kicking asses. He picks the gun and pops both of the bums, then dumps evidence in a river. The bums were found by their father, and he's gonna make the guy responsible pay. The guy who stole Jenny gets in trouble because it seems Jenny must have escaped or something and bite half the buyer's face off, causing him to get 30 stitches. His boss threatens him with scissors and his finger, demanding to keep business happy and don't mess up again. Now his boss gets in trouble by his boss asking how he didn't notice Levon and how he's out hunting him. Eventually, they end up finding out Levon is retired from the military. Levon gets a phone call while driving. It's the school. The staff explains that Mary Cade, his young daughter, is still waiting to be picked up from school. Her grandfather, also Levon's father, who was supposed to collect her that day, never showed up. After picking up his daughter, Levon knows something is wrong and asks Mary to check her grandpa's location since they share together and it shows he is at his house. Levon quickly starts heading that way and he pulls up, the house is on fire. He quickly goes inside and grabs his dad who was tied, saving him from the fire. He says it was Russians looking for Levon, saying it was all his fault. He sends his grandpa to the hospital saying he'll be safe there. And Levon and Mary goes to his blind friend house to be safe. After Levon explains, his blind friends start asking will he find this girl. But Levon, not gonna give up his friend, starts showing him guns. Levon says he don't want to go back to that life, but he has no choice. He says it reminds him them back in the day. Levon leaves his daughter safe with them and gets back hunting. We get back to Jenny and she's kidnapped in the back of a car. She starts praying. While she's praying, they put her to gunpoint. Jenny kicks them and they lost control of the car. Jenny has got her blessing and starts running away in the woods. She uses barbed wire to cut herself loose. They loses her and says if they don't find Jenny, they're going back to prison. Jenny runs and finds a cop car, somehow appearing at the right time once again. Jenny starts noticing the cop is taking her to a weird place. As they get to the weird place, the cop says sorry as she must be forced to. This cop looked familiar. She was on the payroll when she got Levon. Now Jenny back fucked up again. Their boss calls, making sure they still have Jeannie and she's alive. He demands them to bring her to a farmhouse for a date. Levon is getting closer and closer to finding Jenny. He's in flow state now like the old days. He goes on a rampage on everyone until he gets to the person in charge. After Levon finds him, he tries to pay Levon to leave him alone, but Levon says he can pay his own bills. He shows a picture of Jenny asking where she is. He asks why Levon is killing all these people for a girl. Levon says he promised he'll protect her. The guy asks if he tells Levon the address will he still live. Levon says what if he gives him the wrong address, so he takes the guy with him, saying it's what's best for both of them. As he's driving, the guy calls Jenny out her name, so Levon slaps his punk ass and asks him to say it again. Levon goes to the address and puts a gun to the guy's head, making sure it's the right address, and asks who's doing this. The guy explains he goes to clubs and take pictures of pretty girls and he sends them to clients who chooses. He asks Levon why he's doing this, and Levon says he has a daughter and he won't understand. After killing that weirdo, Jenny is inside preparing for her date with the weirdo, not knowing Levon is right outside sliming people outside to get to her. Demi business partner, aka the fake Demi, gets a call saying Levon clapped a dozen Russians tonight trying to find Demi. He knows he screwed up hooking up Levon with Demi, so he gets everybody he can with a gun to get Levon. After some people comes out, Levon hides. After sliming 2 people, Levon heads inside. They take Jenny down somewhere and ties her up. The weirdo comes to Jenny and grabs a knife, saying he wonders what's inside of Jenny. As saying they hear the grenade Levon blew up upstairs. Levon's back in flow state, killing everyone he sees. Jenny knows it's Levon coming to save her. But now there's a new problem. The fake Demi and his guys have arrived. But they're just noob level to Levon, and the weirdo knows and have no choice but hold Jenny hostage. After taking out most of the men, Levon comes face to face with the guy from the club once again, and the two immediately start fighting. Just as Levon is about to finish him off, fake Demi steps in, forcing Levon into one final showdown. The two square up, and before the fight begins, Demi asks Levon for his real name. Levon calmly tells him, already knowing that's going to be the last question Demi ever asks. The fight doesn't last long. Demi thought he was a real threat, but he gets his big ass whooped and never stood a chance. After putting him down, Levon starts searching the building until he suddenly hears Jenny calling his name. He follows her voice, finds the room she's trapped in, and instantly puts the creepy guard down. The two remaining goons watch their boss get booted offline and realize they're next. One of them starts unloading every bullet he has, shooting at nothing like a complete dumbass. Once his magazine is empty, he suddenly wants to surrender like everything's supposed to be okay. Levon starts beating up the guy with his bare fist, making sure he feel it. After everything Jenny's been through, she wastes no time releasing all her anger on the woman. While she's still tied, she wraps her legs around the girl's neck and choking her out while Levon finishes off the last guy. Just when it looks like everything is finally over, another vehicle pulls up. It's the machine gunner. Levon quickly unties Jenny and tells her to stay close and follow his lead. At the same time, the police arrive, responding to reports of an active shooter, completely unaware of what's waiting for them. The machine gunner opens fire without hesitation, tearing through the patrol cars until they explode, killing the officers almost instantly. Levon tries returning fire from behind cover, but the gunner does nothing except hold down the trigger and spray bullets everywhere. Realizing brute force won't work, Levon uses his military training, grabs some tactical gear, and outsmarts the gunner before finishing him off with a ghost bullet. Then he pulls out a grenade and shoots a 3 to the last goon, blowing his ass up. After going outside, the last surviving brother watches everything unfold from a distance. Furious that Levon wiped out his men and 2 bum sons, he calls his brother to tell him Jenny escaped and demands revenge for his 2 sons Levon killed. But his brother shuts him down, warning him that the devil got exactly what he came for, and that going after Levon again would only get him killed too. With the nightmare finally over, Levon brings Jenny home, where her family rushes to embrace her. Overwhelmed with relief, they thank Levon for risking his life to bring their daughter back. Levon then heads to his old friend's house, where Mary has been safely waiting for him. He thanks Gunny for looking after his daughter. Gunny asks if he really found the girl, remembering their last conversation when he wasn't sure Levon would make it back. Levon smiles, turns to Mary, and asks, "So, what did I miss?" As they sit down together to eat, Levon is finally welcomed back home, bringing his mission to a peaceful end.